want to do a quick comparison video. I've got 1, 2, 3 of these laurel sumac bushes I need to get rid of. Again, this is for brush remediation purposes. I need to thin this area out. So I wanted to give you guys a quick overview of basically the 3 different types of trimmer heads. I'm going to be using a brush blade on one of them. Going to use just regular old trimmer line, and then I'm going to use the hedge clipper head on one. A couple things just to point out off the bat. The brush blades, these are good. They are somewhat limited for 2 reasons. Your cutting path on them, if we compare it to the string, your cutting path is significantly smaller than the string, and this string's not even fully extended. So you might have a foot and a half diameter with your cutting string. Your brush blade's going to be limited to, I don't know, 8 or 9 inch diameter. So this will make a difference, you'll see. And then with the hedge clipper head, that's almost a 2 foot cutting path. So we're going to start. I think I'm going to take this right one off with the hedge clipper head, change heads, we'll do the brush blade, and then we'll do the trimmer line. So that's a wrap. We did the hedge clippers, brush blade, trimmer line. One thing I've noticed, the trimmer line is my default for my initial pass on a lot of this stuff. It will not cut through some of the thick stuff, and you will start eating through trimmer line. So let's get up close and look at this. You can see here when the trimmer line hits the plant, it has a tendency to strip a lot of the bark back. These laurel sumac are hardy enough that it does not bother them. And this is, you're looking about the thickness limit of what trimmer line could take off. I mean, it's softwood, but it is a fairly thick bush. But what's nice, the one big benefit to the trimmer line, you've got about 1.5 foot wide cutting path on it. It will take off all the new growth on these shrubs, and then you can get right down to the ground level. You're not going to worry about sparking a fire or anything. So what they lack in some beef and being able to take everything off at the rootstock, they're going to make up for in other areas. This was the brush blade. One thing I'm very wary about the brush blade. You can see here these burn marks. So as you get into this thicker stock, you're probably pushing the limits of what a brush blade is going to be able to do. They do make a circular saw type attachment. I've yet to try that out, but that would be, I think, more ideal for getting some of this thick stuff. But brush blade is going to make quick work. It's going to eat through just about anything up to 1 inch in thickness. But you are limited as to how wide the cutting path is. So it's going to take you a little longer on some of the real thick shrubs. And you also are not going to be able to run that close to the ground, especially here in Southern California. Once it gets hot and dry, I would not use a metal brush blade. The risk is not worth it. That you hit a rock or something, or even something like this. You knock a piece of dead wood off, you get a little ember in there, you walk away, and that could be very bad news. And last one up is the Hedge Clipper. I did end up taking that off with the brush blade. But what's nice about the Hedge Clipper, you have a nice wide cutting path. It is wider than the string, and it will handle up to about 1 inch thickness. So not quite as thick as the brush blade, but what I've noticed is you're not leaving the burn marks in the wood. And also, so here's an example. This was about as thick as that Hedge Clipper head's going to handle. We did this end with the brush blade. You will get a fairly clean cut on the thinner stock. It's not until you get up into this thick stock where you're effectively trying to saw it through. Here's another example of the Hedge Clipper head. Again, that's about 3/4 of an inch thick, I would say. So your Hedge Clipper it's a pretty versatile head. It's nice and wide. The only thing you're not going to get with a Hedge Clipper head, you don't get a good dispersal of the leaves. So once you cut them, they effectively are going to fall straight down. So typically I'll use the Hedge Clipper head, then I'll come back through with the trimmer line and just try to mulch the ground layer down and spread it out. So, price wise, so the line again is my go-to. This is the Echo Speed Feed head. I think they're $30–40. I run 105 line. That's about the thickest I would recommend. I do like a square or triangular line in it typically. You could use a round line and get up to like 115, much over 115. You can fit the line in. The line is too thick. You will, if you hit thick brush, you start chewing up your head. So I've put, I think, 130 line in this before. I mean, it'll run, it'll cut, but if you cut something too thick, you're gonna snap this. You're gonna start breaking this enclosure on your trimmer head. So 105 is about the limit. And then I think $40 for this head. Here's the brush blade. I think that's about a $40 attachment. I've not used this very much. But again, you can see that if you have a limited number of these shrubs and you're careful about when you run this, we've got a nice overcast day, the ground's pretty wet, so I can run it pretty close to the ground without too much worry. But again, if it gets hot and dry, do not use this. But these are about $40–50, I think. And then the last one is this Hedge Clipper head. It's my first season using it. It is, for me, it's been well worth the money. This is about $300, but it's really let me get in and manage some of the thicker stuff that I've not been able to get to. So any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll try to reply. Thank you.